Hi, I'm Karen Vigiste. As a mediator, I have got some great news, especially if you find yourself stuck in some kind of conflict rut. It could happen to anyone. Or maybe your fighting has led to some romance-wrecking warfare. My great news is that your dispute, however nasty, can mark the beginning of positive change. I guess that may sound a little hard to believe, but as a mediator, I've witnessed many radical transformations between the most unlikely angry people. That's why I'm sitting here today offering you my series, First Aid for Stress, so you can lower your relationship stress. In my mediation work, I've resolved all kinds of stressful disputes, everything from the boardroom to the bedroom. My passion for peace building is rooted in my Swedish genes, although I did back up my passion with formal mediation training in 3 countries. For those details, you can go to my website, lowerstress.me, and the ME stands for mediation. During this pandemic, my mediation office is closed, so I'm going to pass along my First Aid for Stress package. Look at it as First Aid to relieve your relationship headaches. Since we're all social emotional beings, a huge, and I mean a really huge source of stress is caused by other people. You see, it's not your car that breaks down. When that happens, you see a car mechanic. Or it's not your computer that breaks down. When that happens, you see an IT specialist. But what do you do if your relationship is breaking down? Most people don't do very much. They just stay stuck in a rather tough place. And today, during this pandemic, when you may be forced to share that space with the other frustrating person for a prolonged time, the bickering can easily build to some nasty fighting, which over time could erupt in explosive anger. There's been a terrible increase in domestic violence cases. And apparently people in China, now in the post-COVID stage, are seeking divorce in huge numbers. Sometimes the tension inside a home is just so great that it spills right out onto the street. Here's what I saw the other day when I went for a walk. The front door of a house literally flew open and a woman ran out screaming in some foreign language as she's pulling on her jacket. A man tried to follow her up from the door, but she yelled something back in a very threatening language. So the man stopped and she rushed forward for her brisk walk. I'm pretty sure different versions of this scene get played out in many homes. And it could happen just as easily when there's no pandemic going on. Anyway, back to the super stressed out woman. Walking will help to calm her emotions to some degree. Yet there's this pervasive myth about stress management. People believe that all you have to do is exercise, meditate, or do yoga to relieve your stress. The sad truth is, there really aren't enough meditation minutes or yoga moves that could address the underlying triggers of your stress for the long term. Our popular stress-relieving activities provide a temporary, and I'm going to underline the word, a temporary feel-good escape, leaving the stressful situation unchanged. This global COVID-19 pandemic has opened up more free time. And I know you weren't looking forward to this social isolation, whether working from home or not. I want to encourage you to benefit from this downtime by tackling a difficult issue in a new way. Why not redirect the energy of your stressed out emotions into positive, productive peace talks? Even your body will thank you for that release of stress. As a mediator, my prime skill lies in asking questions to structure the thinking of the 2 opposing parties through to their resolution. So what I've done for you is revise and simplify my mediation questions so that they can guide you and the other person as you talk towards your own agreement. I call my new line of questioning SIMMED. It represents 2 shortened words, simplified and mediation. Every single problem-solving conversation involves asking questions, right? But it can be hard to know which questions to ask, especially when you're feeling stressed out. Some questions can sound highly accusatory, like, "Why the hell did you do that?" Now, passing blame will put the other person on the defensive. Some might even walk away or yell back. So, not much good can come of that. I promise you, submit questions will prevent the blame game, as well as talking in ever-frustrating circles where there is no solution in sight. Plus, there's no room to bring up past grievances. Even in the post-COVID-19 world, my basic message will remain the same. If the two of you own the problem, then a solid solution already rests within the two of you. The trick is to dig deep enough so that you strike common ground, and from this sacred space, solutions emerge. So you don't have to hire a mediator or a counselor or some other therapist, because the best solution can only occur if you receive first-hand input from the other person. Now, don't give up your control to an outsider, not even your very best friend. I can almost hear you thinking that talking to a good friend has always helped. Sure, it can take the edge off your stress, but the solution, which can really mend the relationship, rests exclusively with the two of you. And besides, let's be honest, when you're talking to a good friend, isn't it human nature to describe your role in this dispute in slightly more innocent terms? The naked truth gets lost in translation to a third party. Your friend will not be able to walk a mile in your shoes, no matter how often they say, "I understand." And that, by the way, includes the very best therapists. Your first move involves inviting them to sit down with you. If the tension between the two of you has been really bad, so bad that you're barely even talking, I want to encourage you not to lose faith, because I've learned that everyone is open to some degree of negotiation. After all, who doesn't want to shake off their frustration by finally settling an issue? Believe me, even a hard-nosed control freak wants a change. I work in Toronto, a rich multicultural city, and despite the countless different cultures, we're all the same here. And there is no pain in the world quite as bad as the pain of a breaking relationship. Emotional pain can cause all kinds of physical ailments, so take care of yourself. The only failure in life is the failure of not trying to forge some kind of agreement. I'm here today because I know how hard that can be, especially when trying to settle a dispute with a loved one. That's partly why I studied the mediation field. The urge to be a peacemaker springs from deep within each person, and that includes your opposing party. Before you invite them to join you in peace talks, wait. Just wait until they're relaxing. This first stage is critical, because if you mess up the invitation, the stress will continue to build, perhaps even putting the relationship into greater jeopardy. Too many people already lead lives of quiet desperation. So I'm going to offer you a number of invitation suggestions, but only you know this person, so act on one or two ideas that you think will be well received. If the person you've been fighting with is your partner, then there's no harm in dabbing on a little bit of perfume or cologne. If you don't have any, consider buying some for this very momentous occasion when you're about to revive your love life. Another tip is to wear something simple yet alluring. Now is not the time to feel bashful. Believe me, the time has come to warm up their biggest and most powerful sex organ. Are you with me? This organ sits right between their two ears. So the following mental stimulation is designed to elicit good vibes. Remember, your overall goal here is to increase your chances that they will want to join you in peace talks. Whoever this other person is, make your voice softer and gentler than your normal everyday voice. And do keep in mind that the following invitation could be given to a sibling, a parent, your adult child, a close friend, etc. Those relationships are not immune to disputes. And most importantly, your loved ones are far too precious to let anger sever your ties. Perhaps you played a role, however small, in the continuation of the dispute. So you might extend the voice invitation by saying, I've been thinking about us lately, and I feel badly about the hurtful things I've said, or maybe in your case, the hurtful things I've done. Now, I fully realize that you may need to gather all your courage to say this, to be the bigger person, to be the change that you want to see. Try to avoid letting pride act like a toxic piece of poison. There is no harm in injecting a little dose of humility. Here are some other suggestions. Believe it or not, I do value and love you, despite all that we've been through. That's why our strained relationship really hurts me. I hate it each time our argument spins out of control, causing one of us to walk away. I'm just so tired of fighting. Don't you think we're better than this? I know we can be better than this. I have faith in our ability to work things out. Since our old attempts to solve the issue haven't worked, I'd like to try a new approach to peace talks. And when we start, I promise to be respectful, no matter what I may be feeling. Will you please give this a try? All I'm saying is, let's give peace a chance. We deserve to be happier. The power of touch can be useful when reaching out to a person you've been close to. Of course, you decide whether they would be comfortable if you placed your hand on their arm or shoulder. If they accept your gesture, leave it there for about 10 seconds. One of my earlier suggestions involved you expressing your faith in their ability to work things out. I realize that your faith in them may have crumbled, and they may have lost all confidence in ever reaching an agreement with you as well. So when feelings are rather fragile, there is no harm in telling a little lie by expressing your faith in them. They probably need to have their confidence bolstered in this way. So go ahead and suggest a time for your peace talks. In my next video, I will launch right into the SynMed questions. I'd like to point out that in my fourth video, I will introduce peace talks for children under the age of 13. It is so vital to teach children how to express their anger constructively. Hopefully, this will lead to less turbulent teenage years. In case you want to move forward with the complete set of SynMed questions, they're in my book called First Aid for Stress, which you can find on my website, lowerstress.me. By the way, I'd love to hear if you found any of these suggestions helpful. The comment section is just below here. And if you happen to know anyone else who might benefit from this series, just click on the share icon, also below. Finally, if you like this video, please click on the thumbs up symbol. This is my first series, so your feedback will be very valuable. Thank you for your kind consideration. Till next week.